Hi vendors, welcome to your 2021 Cornelius Farmers Market Orientation.
As most of you know, my name is Daniela Perez. I'm the Farmers Market Manager, and today I'm happy to introduce you to a new market staff that has joined us as an AmeriCorps member this 2021 season. Hi everyone, my name is Sage, and like Daniela said, I am the Farmers Market Assistant as an AmeriCorps member here. So here's our schedule for today. We will be talking about the market setup and operations. We will then go into just the different safety requirements in regards to COVID to ensure that the vendors, the market staff, and the customers are all safe. After that, we'll talk about what to do in an emergency, and then we'll switch it over to accounting and talk about the token eligibility and types and the reimbursement form as well. After that, we'll make sure that you're all ready and set up to take the little quiz at the end.
We wanted to provide you all a detailed vendor checklist so that you can review it and be successful in your application to the Cornelius Farmers Market. So, in this checklist is everything that you will need in order to sell with us. So please review it carefully. We have a requirement to have your profile on MarketSpread fully filled out. We also will need to have all your products in there so that they can be approved. You'll need to register your business with the city of Cornelius, and there will be a fee waiver from the city of Cornelius, and I'll share more information about this. You'll need to upload and share with us all your permits and licenses that are applicable to your type of business. You'll also need a general liability insurance. You'll need to read the Cornelius Farmers Market Vendor Handbook in detail, and you'll need to understand the COVID-19 guidelines for your type of business and for the market itself. Of course, you'll need to watch this orientation video and fill out the orientation questionnaire.
Here is an overview of the setup and takedown of the market. Vendors are allowed to set up from 2 to 3:45 p.m. Vendors must be ready to operate by 4 p.m. when the market starts, and vehicles must be removed no later than 3:45 p.m. So again, you can drive through the market from 2 to 3:45 p.m., but your cars must be out of the market space by 3:45 p.m. Vehicles will enter along 13th Avenue and exit at 14th Avenue, where there's one-way traffic only. And for the safety of everyone, vendors are not allowed to enter the market area with their vehicles before 8:15 p.m. This is so the customers have enough time to leave safely, and you can pack up your booth completely before you retrieve your vehicle. That means you can take down your tent and pack away all of your goods, and once you bring your vehicle in after 8:15, you can just load it up and go. Lastly, we also ask that you leave your space cleaner than it was found. Vendors must take their trash with them at the end of the market day.
In this map, you will see the area for the farmers market. So at the bottom of the map, you'll see North Adair Street, which is over here at the very bottom. And then on each side of the market, you'll see there's 13th Avenue over here. And at the other end here, we'll have 14th. In this yellow spot here, we'll have the parking lot where you'll be able to park your cars after you unload at the market. And our market is located right here in between the library and in between the offices for the city of Cornelius. So this is where our market is located. Make sure that you know this, especially if you are a new vendor with us this season.
Here's another version of the map you just saw with the directional flow of traffic. So as you can see here, you will enter from 13th Avenue, drive through the market space when you're setting up or taking down, and exit through 14th Avenue. If you are doing setup and are ready to park your car after you're done setting up and ready for the market, please just park in this parking lot over here in the elementary school. If you are leaving the market and getting ready for takedown, you will take your car out from the parking area and drive on this road over here on 8, and then go back onto 13th and go through the market in the same directional flow as you entered. Here are some of the important points of what vendors should do during the market. Vendors must provide their own tents and tables and keep them weighted down at all times. This is especially important on windy days, but again, we ask that you keep them weighted down for every single market. Each stall space must display a sign identifying the farm or your business by name, include its location, and clearly display the prices for all of your products. The staff at your booth must be either the main producer or a representative directly involved in the production of your products. Lastly, someone must be at your booth for the entire market, so that's 4 to 8 p.m. If you need to take a little break, we have volunteers who can step in and assist you as needed.
The following slides will discuss the market safety guidelines.
The following are the market safety guidelines. Market staff and volunteers would not be allowed if sick, showing symptoms, or have been in contact with anyone who is sick. Market staff and volunteers are required to wear a face mask at all times, including during setup and teardown. There will be a hand washing station centrally located in the market space. The market will have controlled access at the entrance points to guide customers on market flow, and the market staff will provide and post signage at high traffic points to remind customers to maintain 6 feet minimum social distance.
So similar to last year's market, we will maintain all social distancing protocol, including markers on the ground and signs that have 6 feet of distance between customers and vendors, and all market staff as well. This next section will outline all the vendor safety guidelines. So we'll start with the pre-market safety precautions. We ask that all vendors take extra precautions when handling or packaging anything that you will be selling at the market.
The vendors are expected to follow the same safety guidelines that the market staff will be following. So no vendors will be allowed if they are showing any symptoms of being sick. They are required to wear a face mask during the whole market, and they are required to use hand sanitizer at their sell points and remain in contact with a social distance monitor, provide clear signage, and provide signage to discourage customers as well from touching products that they don't intend to purchase.
So here's an example of some signage that you can post at your stand to remind people to maintain social distance for at least 6 feet apart. You should also have some ground markers to remind people to stand 6 feet apart. And we'll make sure to put that throughout the market so everyone knows when they're walking through the market to keep that space.
Continuing on the vendor safety guidelines, vendors will be asked to round prices to eliminate coin change handling. Vendors will also be expected to frequently sanitize surfaces and any touch points that customers will have with their booth. Vendors will practice hand hygiene by washing hands frequently and wearing displaceable gloves when possible. And we'll also ask vendors to ensure separation between tasks of food handling and payments that will ensure everybody's safety.
So we just really want to emphasize the importance of safe transactions, making sure to frequently sanitize all surfaces and all equipment used during the payment process. Gloves should be worn and changed between tasks and transactions, or wash your hands or sanitize them. And addition to that, make sure to round your price to the nearest dollar so you're not dealing with lots of coin change handling. and to really just streamline the payment process.
Samples for your products are allowed in the market, but they must be in containers with or without lids. And samples must be handed out individually to shoppers rather than self-serve or buffet style. This will ensure everybody's safety.
This following section is going to be about produce vendors.
If you are a produce vendor, this map will show you how we suggest that you set up your booth in order to have the most safety for your customers and your staff. We recommend that you have an area for a line to form for your customers on the side of your booth so that they can wrap around and make a line as they can go around to make orders and then pay at the very end. We recommend that you separate staff members, one employee that can take care of orders and then one employee that can help guests check out. We recommend that most produce goes in the back for display. So this setup is really great because that way customers are not coming up and touching your produce and, being selective and spending less time in your booth, so that when you're talking to a customer, they could just point you to what they need and you can put it over here in a box or baggie or just anything to help move along the order throughout the booth itself. So once a customer selects what they want, they can move across the booth and then they can go to the employee that's going to support them with checkout. And we recommend that you provide a sanitation station so as they leave your produce stand, then they can sanitize and re-enter the market.
So in terms of displaying produce, we highly recommend that you pre-bag any bulk items, so big bags of lettuce or other items like that. And that way, products can then be sold by unit instead of by weight, and that really just eliminates the weighing process and streamlines the checkout process. In addition to that, we want to reiterate the importance of creating a separation between customers and displayed produce. That just ensures the safety of everyone, making sure that customers do not touch the produce they do not intend to purchase.
The following slides will be relevant to specialty product vendors.
Here's an example of a safe booth setup using an extra table for just creating that extra distance between the customers, the vendors, and the product.
In this example, we can clearly see that the vendor is using a lot of signage to tell the customer what they are selling. Some products are displayed, but most of the products are back of the booth so that the customers don't necessarily touch or handle the product that much.
The following slides apply to hot food vendors.
Hot food vendors have very similar requirements than special products vendors. They're expected to keep signage on the front, have extra tables to separate clients from the vendor staff, and most of the products are again in the back of the booth.
Hot food vendors should provide takeout only options at this time. And we still don't allow any single-use plastic bags, but it's up to the vendors to decide if you wish to charge for paper bags or any more sustainable options. It's also required to have a sanitization station at your own booth. The following section refers to the customer safety guidelines. Some of our guidelines for customer safety include that customers stay home when they are feeling sick, showing symptoms, or have been in contact with anyone who is sick. They should also be wearing face coverings the whole time while they're at the market. They should really pre-plan and come prepared with a shopping list to minimize time spent at the market space. It's also recommended that customers only send one person per household whenever possible, and to consider shopping for neighbors, especially if they're in a vulnerable population. All of this information is publicly posted to help inform customers before they arrive at the market.
The following things are what we expect customers not to do. We ask our customers to not set personal items down on surfaces such as grocery bags, shopping bags, personal items. We ask that they don't bring any refillable or personal containers, so please don't accept them if you're a vendor. Do not spend excessive time lingering at the market. So we are really promoting our market as a shop and go space where customers can shop for your products and leave as soon as they have the possibility, so that they can open up the space for other customers to come in. And we also ask that there's no eating at the market. So we won't be providing any seating spaces or any place where customers could enjoy their meal. They should be taking their meals home. We will also be asking customers to utilize the hand washing stations we provide and only touch products they are hoping to purchase. We will discourage customers to touch any products that they will not be taking with them. And vendors should be helping them select the products. Vendors will also help customers put together their order, and we will ask vendors to consider putting together pre-bagged products to save time. Customers should be encouraged to purchase pre-bagged packages and read and follow the signage that the market staff and the vendors themselves will put out in their booths. Please take a second to write down the following numbers and make sure that your vendor staff have them in case of an emergency. In case of an emergency, you should be expected to contact the market manager, let them know what the situation has been, and dial the following numbers. The non-emergency number for things that are not urgent is listed here as 503-629-0111. And the emergency number that we all know is always a possibility. We can always call 911 when there is an extreme emergency situation.
In the following section, we will be talking about vendor accounting. This will include topics like the bank pouches, currency, tokens, accounting sheets, and the due dates for those. At the beginning of each market day, we'll give you a bank bag, this blue bag right here, and you have to return it by the end of each market day. In this bag, you'll find the token eligibility / token type form to remind you what tokens each vendor accepts, along with the sign that goes along with what tokens you as the vendor accept. In addition, you'll find the Forest Grove Farmers Market vendor reimbursement form.
Each week, all vendors will receive a token bag or a bank bag where you will have access to the following form. In this form, it will be noted what type of token you can accept, but it's really important that you pay attention right now and then you know as a vendor what tokens you can accept or not accept. All vendors can accept $5 red debit tokens. That means you can use it as if it were cash, and all vendors can accept those. The green SNAP tokens can only be accepted for fruits, vegetables, general produce, herbs, plants intended for growing food, and then also for packaged baked goods, honey, agricultural products like dairy, eggs, meat, fish, poultry, and value-added edible items. Orange tokens can only be accepted to purchase two categories, which is the fruits, vegetables, and general produce, herbs, and also for plants intended to be used to grow food. The same goes for the Producer X vouchers, which can only be accepted for those two categories as well. And the Senior and WIC FD&P checks can only be used for fruit, vegetables, dried beans, cut herbs in that category. This is the official form that you will receive in your bank bag. It has all the information that you will need to fill out in order to receive a reimbursement for accepting any tokens and produce vouchers. So please make sure that by the end of each market day, you will fill out the correct information with the totals of the tokens that you accepted. Take some time to review this sheet. In today's training, if you need to click pause in the video to make sure that you understand what all the elements in this sheet mean, but it's very straightforward. You are just expected to fill it out every day at the end of the market. Our market staff will then make sure that this corresponds with the exact amount of tokens that we received. So the tokens that you return to us will be recounted, and we will make sure that the amount that you reported is the amount that we actually received. We usually don't have a lot of differences, only a couple tokens in difference in most cases. So please make sure to be carefully counting your tokens and noting the right amount. Something to note in this slide is that you will have to fill out here where it says vendor name and make check payable to. Please include the correct name that we should make the check to. It's been a thing in the past where we've had to double make checks because the name was made out to the business or the person instead of where it should actually be going. So please pay attention to that when you're filling out your vendor reimbursement form. Here's a larger view of the vendor reimbursement form that you will receive in your bank bag. Just to note, the elements is the vendor name, as I mentioned in the last slide, the date, the type of token, so it's either a green, a red. We no longer accept blue tokens, so expect that to change in the future. The total amount due, and then when we do our token counting, this gray area is what will be verified. At the end of the month, we will total all of these categories up for you and provide you a check with your reimbursement. This will happen only once a month, even though you report weekly. This vendor reimbursement form is for all of you vendors that will not be selling produce or farm-related products, but you're accepting still debit red tokens. So most of the vendors will be receiving this particular one, so make sure that you know which form you can accept in your booth, and then what form make sure you receive the correct one so that we're making a reimbursement for the actual tokens you are allowed to receive.
Of a filled out vendor reimbursement form. The most important aspects of this are the vendor name / make check payable to, and please write the name that you want the check sent to. This will be really important for our own accounting purposes and so that you get your money. Please write down the date of the market and fill out the number of each token or voucher that you received. Some are in the value of $2 or $5, so please write the amount of tokens you got and then multiply it by the value of that token. So say you got 10 Producer X vouchers. Those are worth $2 each, so 10 times 2 is 20. At the end, please include the total amount due, so your calculation of the vouchers and tokens that you received. We will verify it and do our own recounting of it, and we will also write the amount to be paid. So only fill out the white area and your business name, please.
So this is a great example about what you will be receiving every week. This is what we keep referring to as your vendor bank bag. It's kind of like a voucher bag that will contain all of the information that you need in order to sell in our markets and accept tokens in our markets. So in your bag, you will find information about what type of tokens and alternative cash you will be able to accept. And then it will also provide information on what those tokens mean in terms of what type of category of product they're related to. So just to refresh your brain and make sure that you know and understand the category of product that each token is related to. And then it will also contain your Forest Grove Farmers Market vendor reimbursement form. This is the one that you will fill out every week in order to receive a reimbursement from us. And then whatever money you receive on the day, hopefully lots of it, you will be also putting everything inside of the token bag and returning it to us at the end of the market day. We're asking all of our vendors for market accounting purposes to please report your sales on Market Spread. So if you go on your Market Spread account, you will see that there is a tab where you can add events, and you'll see the events that are happening over here. And you can select an option to report your sales, and this will open up another page where you can enter the cash amount, the charge amount, if you received any checks, if you received any Double Up food bucks, and any other type of tokens that you accepted. You can leave notes for the market here, like it was a very successful day, we sold out. Hopefully a lot of you have that experience. But we require this as a market because it helps us with financing and grants, and it helps us evaluate how successful our market is and how we can improve and promote vendors. So please share with us your sales so that we can support you better as a market.
Why do people buy at farmers markets versus at the grocery store? They really want to support and connect to the people who grow and sell their food. So make sure to keep a positive attitude, share your stories, and be really helpful to the customers and answer any questions they have.
Congratulations! You have finished the vendor orientation for the 2021 season of the Cornelius Farmers Market. To be approved as a vendor, you have to complete this last step. That is to fill out the short questionnaire about this presentation, showing us that you've learned what we've talked about today and that you're ready to sell at the farmers market. The link will be in the email that we have sent you all.
Thank you so much for your patience and for your kind attention while we presented this orientation online. We were so hoping that we could get together in person, but this is the best way for us right now to be able to communicate all this important information to you. So I acknowledge that it's not the same as getting together in person. So here's my contact information. Please do not hesitate to contact me. I am your market manager, and I'm here to help your business thrive in our farmers market. So please make sure to reach out if you have any questions after this vendor training.